Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Last Things Last podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Myers, joined by my co-hosts, MJ Nesgoda and Justin Mandy.
Hello, everyone.
I just consented to being recorded, so
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to say that every time.
I apologize, gentlemen. I am recording both of you. Therefore, you know what is you're saying is being recorded. I will not be in trouble. I've now said that to you. We can.
Kevin will be in trouble.
So college football, the rankings, everything's shaken up to be maybe what you expected, maybe what you didn't expect. Guys, the top four teams right now: Ohio State at number 1, LSU at number 2, Clemson at 3, and Georgia at 4. Do you like it or do you dislike it, MJ?
I think the top four teams are right where they're supposed to be. I know we made some bold predictions a week ago or 2 weeks ago, but I think these are the exact four that should be there. I think this weekend, though, could lead to a lot of fun stuff. Mm-hmm. And as much as I'd like to see, LSU and Ohio State, I'd love to see a giant shakeup, have the college football committee have to talk through something ridiculous, make a horrible choice, and then everyone freak out because it's the only way we're going to get it pushed to 8 games.
Yeah.
Look at it. If Wisconsin beats Ohio State, they're going to take Ohio State. We all know that. And that's going to be the second time in, 3 years the Big Ten champion has beaten Ohio State, and they still take Ohio State over it.
Yeah.
If Wisconsin. And then Georgia LSU, man, if Georgia beats LSU, do you not put LSU in? I mean, look at the quality of wins.
I would just think you'd swap them.
Yeah. And then – if everyone loses, you have to give Utah a look, man. If they beat Oregon, you have to give them a look, or Oklahoma Baylor. I'd love to see the worst case scenario happen for this, and a giant discussion has to take place to see what happens. I think that would just make it so much more fun.
Justin?
I'm glad Alabama lost. That made me happy.
Yes.
Made everybody happy.
Because it would have been like if they would have went in there with one loss, they would have ended up being the 4 seed and getting in anyway.
Right.
So I'm happy they lost. I think the rankings are good for this week. I think a lot of the time people look at it like when Penn State were they 4 or 5?
They were up to 4, which they shouldn't have been.
They're up at 4. But like when Penn State, they were at 4, but also we're going to play Ohio State. And it's like, well, we know it's like the committee – I think a lot of times puts teams there knowing full well that obviously this isn't going to be how it is
just
next
to shake
week.
It up.
So, like, if LSU beats Georgia, Georgia's out already. The only way Georgia gets in, the only way Georgia gets in is if they beat LSU. They're not going to probably, so Georgia's going to lose. And then I think that just makes the 4 – I think the 4 seed is the of most interest in this one. I think if LSU loses, it's not a big deal. Like you said, they'll just swap with Georgia. It won't be a big deal. I'd rather see Utah in that 4 spot at the end of this because they're more of a complete team, I think. But I'm telling you, I have a feeling this is my exact. I just swallowed my full tongue, so that's fun.
He's out of Pink Whitney, and this is what happens.
Yeah, I'm not even drinking any. That's probably the issue. I need to drink some water. But I want Utah to be in. They're a more complete team, but I think that Oklahoma's going to sneak in there somehow, not having to play a championship.
I'd love to see Oklahoma make it, man, and then actually see them win just so Jalen Hurts can look back at Alabama and remember when you benched me when I was 23-2 as a starter? You remember that?
I'd love that. The only thing is Oklahoma, their defense is just so trash, and when you go against a team
bad
like Ohio State,
they'll get slapped
LSU,
by any other of those teams
or Clemson. Exactly, like one of those 3 teams that has an offense and a defense. It's not going to be fun.
No, and like Ohio State this year, man, the year they got picked over Penn State when they won the Big Ten, I just want this on record. I just want to say this out loud. Ohio State was the only team in a bowl game not to score that year. The only team. There was
sounds like a Penn State fan's a little upset.
Oh man, that was the only team. But
Notre Dame got in. We scored 3.
Dude, we knew that wasn't going to be pretty. As Irish fans, we were like, oh, God.
But I would like to see Ohio – I like to see Ohio State do well to give credit to the Big Ten because, I mean, right now there's, 3 or 4 Big Ten teams in the top 10, and then there's still
– This is one of their best years in
like
a long
I said,
time.
they need to do well in the bowl game season to prove that, we
That
just
they're
don't
not
look
just a
good.
volleyball school.
Yeah, hey, wrestling
And
too.
wrestling,
Too, so you watch
and
your filthy
wrestling.
mouth.
You bite your tongue.
You bite your tongue. So, Kev, what do you think, man? I mean, do you think Ohio State's the best team in the country?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I love LSU. And I think LSU beats Georgia. Especially, I think this game could go either way depending on who has the home field advantage. And since it's LSU, I think LSU holds them off. Although I will agree with you, MJ, if they lose, I just think it's an easy swap. You just put LSU at 4, Georgia at 2. I don't think Clemson loses to Virginia. I think Clemson holds that 3 spot pretty solid. But Ohio State's not. But Virginia could play spoiler, for sure.
If Clemson does lose that game, they deserve to fall in the top 25.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And you know what? It's funny because this time of year we kind of expect –
as a school.
like SMU.
Yeah.
But we kind of expect some of those things around this time of year, like a crazy, stupid upset. And what was it Pitt that beat Clemson a few years back?
Yep.
That was like, what? So you never know what's going to happen. But I agree. If Clemson loses to Virginia, they should be out of the top 4. Yeah. That would open up a spot for Oklahoma, although they'd get slaughtered by any of those other teams. But I think, Ohio State's going to hold on to that number 1 spot for the rest of the year. Another game, though, to watch this weekend, boys, is the Utah-Oregon game.
Oh, that's gonna be fantastic.
I'm really excited for that.
Oh, you mean the 2 teams that you said were going to be in the playoffs?
Dude, I said I would want them in the playoffs. I think Utah could get in the playoff.
Utah should.
Yeah, Utah is a really talented team. But again,
although if Oregon beats Utah, then they ruin everything, and then Oklahoma's definitely in.
Absolutely.
Oh no, it froze. Oh no.
I mean, Miami, Ohio at Central Michigan. I mean, come on, guys. That's game of the week material right there. Who do you have in that game, boys? No. So, I think it stays exactly where it is.
Guys, the screen froze for like 5 seconds, and I came back into. So, what do you think about Miami, Ohio?
Central Michigan. I think it stays exactly where it is. I think Ohio State keeps the number 1 spot. LSU and Georgia are going to have a battle, but I think LSU holds them off and keeps number 2. I don't think it changes much after this weekend.
No.
Any other thoughts you guys got?
No, man. I just if the top 4 stays the way it is, who would you like to see win it?
Not Ohio State. I'd like to see LSU win. I'd like to see them win for Bill Burr. For Bill Burr's sake, Bill Burr wants to see them win.
I'd like Ohio State, I think. I like Justin Fields. I like the kid a lot.
Boo!
Does he still only have 1 interception?
Yeah, we're not saying they're not good. We're just we don't like Ohio State. And you're a Notre Dame fan. How do you like Ohio State either?
I just like greatness, dude.
Oh, God. Then why are you a Notre Dame fan?
Yeah, that might be the real question.
The last time we felt greatness, we weren't born.
I know.
The Depression was around, I think.
Canute Rockney.
No, Kev, I'm with you. I want to hear Coach O's victory speech. That's the only reason I want to see LSU win.
I mean, we just went out there and played football.
He's fantastic. I love his enthusiasm. He is the
and his emotion, coach. Like when he just
Amazing.
broke down crying because his family was on the field with him. Like that's awesome.
No, he genuinely is out there having fun. Like sometimes, like going back a little bit, you look at Urban Meyer, and I'm like he's like the Bill Belichick. Like does a child have to get hurt to see him smile? I'm a little concerned there.
Speaking of Bill Belichick, I keep seeing these commercials for that NFL 100 stuff where they keep trying to put together the all-pro teams. Why did they choose Bill Belichick to be the guy on there talking about talent? He's just sitting there. Yeah, Taylor, he was just –
from a talent acquisition standpoint, he is amazing.
Sure, but for entertainment, Taylor he tackled. I mean, he just got in there and yeah. Thank you, Bill. Thank you for that excellent – exciting.
He's like a comatose Ben style. In all seriousness, the man is brilliant. He's absolutely
well. Yeah, he's the most brilliant football mind we've ever seen.
I heard it,
and a looker too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on. All right.
With those cutoffs.
College football. We're all pulling for LSU. Is that where we're looking?
I'm pulling for LSU. He's pulling for Ohio State.
No, I changed mine now because you brought up Ed Orgeron, which, by the way, That's what I was just like. That's why I went away from the cast for a second here. I was trying to look up because I couldn't remember. I have a million books over there and couldn't remember what book it was by looking at the spine. But it's called Meat Market by Bruce Feldman. And
What is happening right now?
No, it's about it literally takes you through like college football recruiting and Ed Orgeron, which is where I first like heard of him, was from this book when he was coaching at Miami and USC. So it's way, obviously it was written in like 2007, I think, or something. So way before LSU, but it's a really, really good.
I bet he uses a lot of those techniques still though.
It follows him around for it tells all about like his life up to like the point of him being a head coach, and then follows him for like a full year at I think Ole Miss. But it's really good.
Yeah, so I guess we don't see any change happening after this week. MJ, well, boys, do you think LSU beats Georgia?
Yeah.
Good game though. I cannot wait to watch it.
Oh, I'm. You know what? LSU let me down on the over/under last week. Just gonna say that, but I think it's gonna be. I think it's a 60 to 70 point game, like easily. It's gonna be
okay, I got you.
No.
Oh, I see. I was like, dear God, 140 total points.
Did a 5-game parlay last week, and 5-game. I needed LSU to score 4 more points, and it was like a $400 win. Nope.
At first, I'm thinking, I'm like, LSU 70.
Just over/under. Sorry, over/under.
So moving out of college football, the hockey world has kind of been turned on its head with all happening stemming from one coach who we've talked about the last couple weeks, Mike Babcock. We thought we were done with this story. I wasn't going to bring it back. And then I read Johan Franzen's story. For those of you that aren't familiar with Johan Franzen, he was an incredible enforcer for the Detroit Red Wings. And he was kind of one of those guys that when he was on the ice, you were like, this guy's mentally tough and physically tough. Loved watching him play. Good two-way player. And he put out a testimony that Babcock before a playoff game in Nashville went off on him so violently and just berated him in front of the team. Apparently, Franzen suffers from depression and major anxiety and is medicated and sees a doctor for all of this, and had a nervous breakdown in the locker room before the game started. He said, and I quote, Babcock is an excellent coach, game plan-wise, but he is the worst human being I have ever known. I mean, I know last week.
But he said it way more Swedish, like the translation of it. It's like, he great coach, but bad person I ever known. You're like,
MJ, you used to watch the Mule play too, and we loved seeing him play and just what he brought to the ice. So expecting, not expecting a guy of his stature to be rocked like that, that's got to say something about Babcock. I remember last week you were talking about, maybe he's just too tough on his players, kind of a thing. They should just, buy into the game plan and move forward. What do you think now after hearing that and reading that?
Well, two things. I think like everything, as long as you're winning, no one says a word. So now that, his team wasn't winning, Babcock gets fired, all these things are coming out. Again, winning shields a lot of stuff. So he could have been doing this his entire career. But as long as he was winning, nothing was going to be said. Now he's not. This is coming out. Now, to see a man like that say the things he said, I mean, besides Crosby, I think most NHL players are very tough.
And Franzen was one of the toughest right wingers / like two-way defensemen ever.
Yeah. So the fact that if it truly broke him down that much, what could have been said? Like, I mean, there's screaming and yelling. There's, throwing of trash cans. But he had to hit some mental note or bring something up personally about him that triggered that. I mean, that's horrible. And like I said, now we're seeing – I was reading another article by I want to give credit here, Andrew Knoll on NHL.com. Was, I think, through the New York Times. Like, we're starting to find, like, coaches that were associated with Babcock were basically behaving in the same manner.
Yeah.
I mean, we look at Peterson now. Yep. Are coming out about him, and I mean, the apology he gave the other day was ridiculous. He apologized to the team, not to the player. I mean, he may have done that privately. We don't know, but from everything that's being said, like, This was a culture that he put through his coaches. So I think in 2019, it's, these things have to change. They're going to change. It's not the old ways where you can scream, yell, basically say whatever you want and get away with it. And I don't think as we move forward, winning is going to cover that either. So if we have a winning coach that's doing these things, I still think it comes out. It takes one disgruntled player or one player to stand up for themselves and say it, which is another way to look at that.
And just to put it into even more perspective, in an interview, Franzen had said he started being terrified of being at the rink starting in 2011. He retired in 2015 after 11 seasons, and since then has battled PTSD, anxiety, and depression from a mixture of concussions and that incident and his time spent around Mike Babcock. Like, dude, so we get this idea, especially with hockey players and football players, these guys that play these really physical sports, that they can't be broken. They're just, we don't view them as normal humans that have emotion that will get hurt that way. And this guy, when I read that he was rocked that bad, I was like, oh my God. It's not like, you're one of your big skill players that's just, that you're like, oh yeah, well, he doesn't really show toughness on the ice, so I can expect that. But for a guy like this to say, I'm terrified of being at the rink and around him, and part of the reason he retired was not just because of the concussions, but he was so tired he was scared of any other coach he was going to play for. So, I mean, Justin, you played hockey. I mean, have you ever had a coach berate you? Oh.
Sorry. Oh. We all know Bill Cole was heads and
Justin's about to pull up his stats. Justin's about to pull up his stats.
Yeah, I said it. I never came to one of your games, but I know.
I mean, I guess, dude. I guess.
I mean, you couldn't hold your goalie's job.
Hey, we know Bill's going to watch this, so what do you have to say about that, Justin?
William Cole was a great line mate and teammate, and I was we were equals. Where his skills left off, mine carried on. He was the muscle, I was the beauty.
He was the love on ice, man. The love. He killed people with love on ice.
Yeah. He was just my bodyguard. I would just trash talk and then skate behind him, and then they'd be coming at me. I'd be like, "What? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?" But anyway, what do you think about all this, Justin?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I mean, no, from a hockey perspective, I think, again, the other thing is, and I think Bill could attest to this, we had a coach our freshman year, sophomore year, I forget when, but
Swede?
No, I don't know, someone. But we would but those practices would be so hard, and you would do suicides like 3/4 of the time. And it was not fun at all. And then we would get blasted by like 5 goals the next game. And I'd always be like, why are we doing suicide? Like, we're not scoring.
We have no game plan.
We're skating well. We're not scoring ever. Let's practice something else. But I know that for some reason, the
they already know his name now.
I don't know why I'm wielding my headset mic like this. But the coach, for some reason, had some type of weird, and Bill could attest to this, I don't know if it was a personal vendetta against Bill, but he would not play Bill at all. He would barely ever play him. And I played quite a bit and was happy about it. So whenever I would get off the ice, I'd be like, oh, he wasn't that bad. But I would wonder if Bill thought that. I think Bill, back then, I seem to remember Bill not liking that season.
Yeah.
Because a coach can really change everything about your experience on the team.
Yeah.
The thing is, you can say they're grown men and they're getting paid a lot of money, so you can just ignore it. But it's their livelihood, and
they're humans.
A guy that powerful in the NHL, there can be fear of if I don't do well for him, he can literally bury my entire career. It's not just I'm not going to do good in Detroit.
Blackball you.
If someone's oh, well, maybe I'll pick up him. I'm going to call Mike because I'm on the same coaching tree as him. And he's oh, no, he's a trash player. Don't pick him up. And then you could literally just be relegated. And now you don't have any money for your family. It's not like you get a consistent flow of money. You have 20 years in the NHL to make money at best.
If you're lucky to be that healthy.
Yeah. So 10 realistically to make money.
Yeah, he played 11 years.
Yeah, and you're terrified all 10 that it's all going to end. So I can definitely see that happening, especially with a guy that seems to be as mentally manipulative as Mike Babcock too.
And if you guys don't check out the Spit and Chicklets podcast through Barstool, they had Chris Chelios on to talk about this incident, and it was really powerful to listen to him talk about it. He was like, that might have been the worst thing I've ever seen done to a human being. I was like, dear God, even Chelios thinks that. But MJ, you talked about it. Now we're seeing this falling out of other coaches. These other coaches that are, spewing racist remarks or just saying really anything that's going to be hazing toward another player and downright abusive. Are we going to continue to see more of this? Like, where does this end? How does this end? The NHL Coaches Association released a pretty weak statement earlier today, just pretty much saying, we really take this stuff seriously and we'll continue to do our best to stop it. Well, if you took it seriously, this wouldn't have been happening this long. I mean, this was like 20 years of coaching that has been revealed that Babcock's been doing this. So what do you think?
No, man, I think more stuff's going to come out. I think there's other coaches, either active or not active, that have probably done these similar things. And these stories are going to keep coming out. I mean, you have to look. The world's changed. I mean, 20 years ago, it's easy to hide some of this stuff. It really is.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, someone that wants to tell their story, jumps on a podcast, jumps on a YouTube channel, finds someone to interview.
Or just Facebook's live it.
Yeah, or
Facebook
anything. The way you can get information out today, it's accessible to millions of people at the click of a button. So these stories are going to keep coming out. I think we're going to see really a change of the guard in the way we look at coach tactics. I definitely think we'll still have hard coaches, but
you should.
Yeah, but hard to improve, not hard
Correct.
to break down.
Right.
I like I said though, I definitely still think there's other coaches that are going to come out. Like I said, active or not active. There's somebody sitting there that's done something that's sweating.
Yeah.
So these stories are going to come out, and I think we're going to start to see a lot of legacy start to change for some of these guys.
Yeah, because I mean, when we won the Cup in 2008, I loved what Babcock had done with our team that year. But now looking back on it, it makes me wonder, whatever he did to people like Franzen or other teammates, was it worth it in the end, even to win the Cup? Like, it just kind of stinks. It puts, obviously it's great to win the Cup, but
I was going to say,
but it puts,
enjoy it.
No, I do, but yeah, whoops. But it's just sad to look back and be like, man, some of those players, just to even get there, must have been going through hell through that entire experience. So
I'd watch Alain Vigneault choke slam each one of our players before every game if it meant that we won the Cup this year. I would listen to him say horribly offensive things about the players' families, about just any minority group, and I'd be like,
"That's the most Philadelphia thing you have ever."
It really is the most Philadelphia.
Oh my God, win at all costs. But yeah, so I'd like to say this is the last we'll talk about it, but I really don't know. We'll see what's going to happen in the next couple.
The ball is rolling now, sir. The ball is rolling.
Yeah, and also we talked about it before. MJ, last week you said you think Babcock coaches again. Do you think he coaches again now in the near future? That's a tough one.
I think it depends.
This looks really bad.
No, I think it depends on what keeps coming out. If more and more stuff comes out, I don't think any teams take the chance. But like I started off this with, man, if you're winning, nobody says anything.
Right.
And I think there may be a few teams desperate enough. But again, if more and more stuff keeps coming out, I personally think he's done.
The thing is also, though, he would have to change his coaching style because now that all of this stuff came out, he's not like invincible. People are going to be hiring him saying like, hey, dude, we love the way that you coach. We love the way that, like, you make teams win winners, but you got to leave all that other stuff at the door. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like people are going to go into it and be like, we're just taking the full Babcock.
By the way, Justin, you're like super not centered in your frame.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was leaning towards my mic for some reason.
It's like
but no, they're not going to like accept the entire thing. And as players continue to come into the league at 18 years old, and they've heard all of this stuff through social media, they're not going to take it either. The first person that he goes after, the players are going to be like, dude, we're going to the GM. What are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
Or
they're gonna like this,
they're
right?
going to stand up and scream right back because he can't ruin their career now. Like even with
Exactly.
the coaching tree, like everyone knows
It does
who you are,
give more powers to the players,
which I think is great.
just because of this, and that's perfect.
Which I think is fantastic.
And that's what the players' associations are meant to do. But this stupid thing that Babcock did literally just played into the hands of the players. Like, all right, dude, we know what to expect from you now, and if you do it, this is what's going to happen to you. No, I think that's huge.
Yep.
So, moving off of hockey, James Harden, gentlemen.
Wow.
This dude is a stud. I think he's going to be the scoring champion yet again if he keeps up this insane
Not
pace.
a stud.
Okay. Well, I was going to start with MJ for his positive review, but
Go
let's
ahead,
go
Justin.
down to Justin, who thinks LeBron is the only good player in the NBA.
That's not true.
No, it is true. You're like ESPN with LeBron, dude.
Carmelo's still in the league.
Oh.
I'm kidding.
Get out of my Western Conference player of the bleh.
Dude, he's had a weirdly like,
Sure,
couple
but
good
like
games.
I don't think it lasts.
No.
Continue
I won't.
on Harden, please.
The only issue that I have with Harden's game, I love the way I love his shooting. It's insane. I love the way he can get to the hoop. It's great. I don't like the way that he gets rewarded for playing I used to have the same complaint about Russell Westbrook too, in a slightly different way. But Westbrook would go to the hoop and just flail his arms up in the air and throw the ball 10 rows into the stands and get rewarded every single time with the trip to the line.
Whoa.
So LeBron doesn't get rewarded?
Actually,
I have a point on that too.
I mean, actually, it's literally like a known thing in the NBA that he's actually one of the least called players. He can't get to the line. He can't buy it. And also, he doesn't want to go to the line because he can't shoot free throws.
Yeah,
But anyway,
that's valid. That's valid.
But no, Harden is shoots. There's games. The other game I saw him shoot 27 free throws in one game. Like, and he's doing sweep throughs at the 3-point line. Like, it's gross. It's a gross style of play.
Why? He's a playmaker. It's exciting to watch.
It's not
People
a play.
love watching it.
It's so exciting to watch dudes shoot 27 free throws a game. Yuck. And there's a reason
him
why
with
he
the
doesn't play in championships.
Okay. The reason that
Because
you and I
sustainable.
have discussed this before, the reason you and I love Russell Westbrook is because he will do whatever it takes to get to the rim.
No, but Russell
So
Westbrook.
why is that not awesome to watch?
He's a stat patter.
He's a stat patter for sure.
Oh,
But
yeah.
Russell Westbrook is more hustle. James Harden is more looking to find some way to draw a foul every time he's on the court. It's
Well,
either,
if you're gonna get him, why the heck not?
Well, okay,
but it's not a foul out of aggression. It's a foul out of like, what crafty way can I make? I'm going to take 17 steps back and then step on someone's foot and pretend like it was a landmine. And then the refs are like, good. Go, make sure he gets 3 shots. Then he's like running, like he gets to like half court and trips over the half court line, and someone's 10 feet away from him, and they're like, foul.
All right, well, I gotta jump in here first. Kevin, on the LeBron thing, like his first 8 years in the league, someone had to sit down with him and tell him, when you drive to the lane, you have to look like you got hit. There was multiple, like,
yeah, because he wasn't getting foul calls.
Destroyed, but he was so strong in his upper body, it didn't look like he was getting touched. Like there was one where his whole neck cracked and he still finished, no whistle, and like his coach is jumping him down, not yelling at the ref, yelling at him, going, "You need to do something.
Just flop.
Just do
Yeah.
something.
Fall.
Like
Yeah.
let them know you got hit because you're gonna get hurt." But on the Harden thing, it's the way the NBA is now, man. If you put Harden back in the late 80s, early 90s, he's not
And
getting
checking.
calls. He's not getting any of these calls. I mean, I guarantee if he was, you'd have someone like a Lamb Beard or a Dennis Rodman that when he went up would put him down so hard he wouldn't do it again. But with the landscape of the NBA today, I completely agree with you, Justin. It is miserable.
That brings up
Watching
another
someone
interesting
27.
conversation, though.
But I don't think that it's like, I don't think it's everyone though. You know what I'm saying? Like I can look at, I like the way, although Durant, I mean, he's not playing this year, obviously, but Durant does some of the swing throughs with his arms and stuff. But I'm trying to think of like, I don't see that with every player. Like I think with Harden, the reason that I don't like it with Harden is how glaring it is. Like I don't see any other player getting to the line 25 times in a game. Like ever.
Yeah.
It just doesn't even make sense.
But if before we keep going down this route, his game the other night where he took, I think it was 24 shots or made 24 shots to score 60 points. Yeah, it was 24-32, I think.
Which is
And
really
he only
good.
played 3 quarters. He only played
Yeah.
like a minute in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
and he found out
that's
he
the scoring champ again this year.
For me, that's good, Harden, though. If you score 24 for 32, like, no complaints. If you score – the issue is I see a lot of box scores where he scores 4 for 19. It ends with 40 points, and you're like, but – he only made 4 field. How is that even possible? And then you look and you're like 27 for 27 from the line. Interesting. Like how? What?
But on the other hand, man, kudos on him for being that good from the line.
Yeah,
that's a charity strike. Like,
he's automatic.
Like if Shaq could have made free throws, he's the all-time leading scorer by a lot. Like by a lot.
Poor Shaq. But MJ, that brings up an interesting conversation. Justin and I have had it before.
Don't do it to me.
No, I'm not doing the MJ LeBron thing.
No, the other thing.
We could do a whole podcast on that. Anyway.
Yeah, we could. And Justin would argue with both of us. But so obviously athletes are better now, no doubt about it, with all the conditioning and all the new technology for sports, everything. They're just better.
Yeah, exactly.
But don't you wish there was that aspect of the 80s and 90s? Of the physicality in the game today?
Yes, because there's none.
Yeah.
But you know what killed it? The malice at the palace killed it.
Yes,
like, they used to let players get a little chippy and shove stuff.
Ron Artest went crazy.
As soon as a player goes into the crowd, that's lights out. Like they have to control these games. I mean,
also it wouldn't work anyway. Like if let's say that they allowed the physicality in the game right now. Stephen Curry's still standing at 35 feet bombing threes, so, like, good luck.
But it would work.
But for those guys that can't be automatic from three and have to get to the rim, that's going to affect them. The big guys, Joel Embiid.
I think the only thing that it'll affect is make games instead of 120 to 111. It's just going to make them 90 to 84.
Well, no.
I don't mind that.
Boring.
I mean, back in the day, they didn't let shooters land. They didn't protect the landing zone. So that's another thing to throw in.
They got to protect the landing zone, though, because who wants to watch the NBA without James Harden?
No, but there's so many guys kicking out their leg and getting the call, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's dumb. But, I mean, the alternative of landing on someone's foot and then having all of your superstars out for the entire season is just boring. You know?
So,
it's like in the NFL when 16 of your quarterbacks, like 16 out of the 32 quarterbacks are hurt.
Yeah,
you're like, so I'm going to watch the playoffs with, like, Nick Foles and Duck Hodges.
No, you're going to watch it, but you'd watch it with Gardner Minshew because who wouldn't?
I mean, Gardner Flynn Minshew, of course.
So just to bother Justin, MJ, Jordan or LeBron?
As in greatest ever? Is that what we're discussing?
Ever.
No. As in, who would you take right now, current age, for both of them?
Jordan, no.
Current age? No. Oh man.
Jordan crosses up some kids at his basketball camp.
But Jordan also got beat by a half balding 50-year-old man in a game of one-on-one. We've all seen the video. It happened. I think that's an unfair thing to talk about right now. Once LeBron's career is completely over,
I agree.
Let's talk about this. But the other thing is longevity, man.
But it's still going to be Michael Jordan.
See, you Jordan.
So Kev,
you are way
worse. What if he manages?
I'm not.
What if he manages to win 6 titles?
If LeBron does, oh my God, then it's a totally different conversation.
Okay, well that's where I'm kind of.
Yeah, dude, Jordan didn't lose one.
Yeah, so Jordan gets a freaking pass. Jordan didn't make the finals 9 straight years, but Jordan gets a pass because they're like, well, he didn't lose in the finals. He only lost in the first round a couple times. And
Jordan had in those first 9 years?
Stop.
They were extreme.
He played against freaking White Dave.
The only other scorer on that team was the Iceman in his old age.
Kevin, those teams were just as bad as some of the Cavaliers teams that.
Agreed.
Just as bad.
Dude, they were awful, Justin. Awful.
Dude, the Cavs team oh my God. I can't even believe it's blasphemy.
This is great.
Their second best player was.
He said blasphemy.
Either an old Larry Hughes.
He hates Stephen A. Smith.
Or Zydrunas Ilgauskas was literally like the 2 people that were on his team.
Old George Gervin was the only other scorer.
All right, let me say this. As of right now at this moment, it's still Michael Jordan. As of right now at this moment.
Yeah, obviously.
The body of work is not complete by LeBron.
It's obviously Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, so we're not even having that conversation.
Oh my gosh,
but that's fine.
You can't
go away. Just go away.
You're like Skip Bayless with Michael
This is why
Jordan.
I don't have these discussions with him anymore.
Oh, wait.
He's not the best of all time.
He's
I
not.
forget who's the leading scorer of all time. I can't
Yeah, but
remember.
LeBron will be that by the end of his career, as long as he doesn't get hurt. So it doesn't matter.
And that still won't be enough.
And he'll be like top 10 in like assists and rebounds too,
Yeah, he'll be really close.
because he was a full, complete player.
Oh, you're saying Jordan couldn't play defense?
Why are we doing this Jordan debate
All
right
defense.
now?
Because
No,
you
we're
just
moving on.
opened
I didn't
up-
say defense.
We're moving on.
Oh,
This will be a special podcast of justice. I will moderate between you two, and you will go at it because I'm kind of on both sides of the fence here. You guys,
He got all first team defense when there were like
also,
10
just
black guys.
center
in the
oh my God! Oh my God! Are you insane?
We gotta
No,
edit that.
no. This is the same crap he pulled when he
that.
talked about that the Seattle Supersonics weren't a good team, or the Utah Jazz weren't a good team to play against.
They were
What?
they were the only good teams though.
If it wasn't
were
for
also-
if it wasn't for the Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen Bulls, the Utah Jazz would have a couple of championships.
Yeah.
They were
The
insanely
Utah
good.
Jazz were the one good team they played the entire freaking playoffs. Yes, you're right.
The Rockets were disgusting. I don't know why that isn't being brought up. The Bad Boy Pistons,
The Sonics,
disgusting.
the Pistons.
Yeah, Jordan had to run away for 2 years to make sure that he didn't have to play against the
Oh, I
Rockets.
actually heard.
Oh,
a
I'm
different-
sorry that his
No,
dad
no.
died and he wanted to go play baseball.
I
I'm sorry
heard
that
a
he got his
different
dad
story on
killed.
that.
1. Fact.
That's the story I
2,
heard.
He got his dad killed. 2, flu game wasn't the flu. He was really, 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 really hungover from the
I
night
don't care.
before.
That's still
That's a
impressive.
fact, too.
We're gonna have to edit out this whole segment. You just accused
No.
him of getting his dad killed.
No, he opened this can of worms. I asked a simple question.
No,
I
Kevin,
mean,
you're gonna have to
those
edit
were
out
both
like a
facts.
good 5-minute section of this.
I'm holding on to it.
Just edit like from 10 minutes from right after college football. Just to
Edit from Babcock on.
All right, gentlemen.
I'll
let's
have
move
regrown my
along.
beard by the time it comes back.
Let's move along to the NFL, boys.
Let's.
What stood out to you? Give one thing each that stood out to you from this last week of football here. MJ, you first.
The Ravens are really good. Like really good. No man, it's the Ravens, you know what? I got it. The Ravens are really good and the Eagles are terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
That's what I
We'll be getting
pulled.
into that for
That's what I-
sure.
And I wish
Justin,
I
what'd you
wish
pull
the
out of it?
Like the
NFC
playoffs.
I wish the NFC East didn't get to send a team. I wish they did.
They really shouldn't.
No, it's no.
My takeaway, one real quick, MJ. I don't know, or no, you wouldn't know because we did it in our Facebook group chat. There was a collusion attempt between Jeremy and I. So here's the deal.
What?
Playoffs. You were winning, so you were going to be 7-6. Jeremy and I were playing. I was 7-5. Jeremy was 6-6. If Jeremy won, all three of us would be 7-6, and you would go into the playoffs. If I won, I would go into the playoffs. So there was no chance that Jeremy would get to the playoffs. So he was like, he had 3 players playing on Monday night, and he was like, I'm going to make a fake post in our group chat about how I hear Kirk Cousins has the flu, and I'm going to start Sean Mannion over Russell Wilson. And then he was going to start he was going to try to drop a bunch of players and add a bunch of players from waivers and just play all backups and let me win to not let you get in the playoffs. But then he looked at it and he was like, there's no way to do this inconspicuously.
Yeah,
So
dude.
So,
A whole bench.
so I'm in the playoffs now, right?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
you're in the playoffs. You're 6 seed.
Woo!
Justin
you
and
got
I
in.
are not.
You got in.
I don't know how, man. I have the worst season.
No, you
I-
didn't, obviously. Your points, so we were all 7-6, but you had like 100 more points than Jeremy or I think. So you
By
won
the way, my
tiebreaker.
other league, I'm fighting to get the 6th spot last week. After Thanksgiving, naturally, I pass out. Did not get the notification that Julio Jones was out.
Oh, no.
So I took a big old goose egg right there. And then Nicholas Foles just had to let me down with a -4. The guy I played scored 150 more points than I did.
The guy that won you a Super Bowl was just benched for a mustache.
I think we can all agree that that's okay. All right. Anyway, back on track. Sorry, guys.
So, so NFL, Justin, what'd you take away from this past week?
Oh, yeah, anyway, I just basically started that and then just told MJ that I was trying to screw him out of the playoffs. But, no,
What else is new?
What I took from this week, somehow the Steelers keep winning. So that's the thing. But I'll leave that for you because I'm sure that's what you have.
Wasn't what I had, but I like that.
Okay. Well, yeah, no, there's no reason the Steelers should be winning. I think it's time to give them not a ton because they haven't beaten a ton of great teams, but definitely to give them some credit.
Say it.
They're going to get in the playoffs. Probably they're going to get waxed by whoever they play, but they're
we'll
going to
talk
get in the
about
playoffs
that.
for sure.
We'll talk about that.
I don't think
We're going to talk about that because there's some experts that disagree with you.
No, but here's the issue. In the playoffs, you need defense and running game. They have defense. If they keep Benny Snell in, they have a running game. If they keep James Conner in, just because he had cancer, they're not going to have a running game. And that's not an edit. It's not an edit. It's not an edit because you're watching Monday Night Football when James Conner's on,
that's true.
And it's just freaking or Sunday.
And he doesn't like it. He absolutely does not like it. He's like, guys, I want to be a football player.
It's like his last name is Connor, who did you know had cancer? It's like, well, no, it's just
Justin,
Connor.
We have to edit half of this section now. God.
No, cancer is bad, dude. I mean, it's bad, but it's not like a bad.
Oh my God! Like okay, stop talking. Just stop talking now.
Hey, can I go on record as anti-cancer? Is that? I'd like to go on record as anti-cancer and
Kevin, what did you take away?
Go ahead, Kevin.
We're going to have to pick the edit up from right when Kevin starts speaking.
No, I'm on record for both. Keep it on the record.
Phillip Rivers should be benched.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
Phillip Rivers should be put on the bench.
Who's their backup? Who is their backup?
No.
I'm going to look it up.
But whoever it is should get a shot at this point. Chargers are dead. They need a
Why don't they have a good backup?
I don't know, but they need to give whoever's there a look like all these other teams are doing. Watching that game was disgusting against Denver, who again almost blew the game, but still held on. Come on, man.
They have Tyrod Taylor.
Is that really decent though?
And Easton Stick. They drafted one.
Yeah. So Tyrod Taylor absolutely should get the nod. Then he should be the starter next week, and it shouldn't even be second thought. But yeah. So that's my thought for this week. We're going to talk about some of these teams as we get into our picks, boys. So pull them up. NFL Week 14. Crazy. We're just moving along this season. So let's see here. Oh, by the way, so
here's something out there.
What?
Nothing. I just saw MJ look up like he was a dog. Like,
I didn't know what it was.
Crazy. So my brother went down to Miami for that game because oddly enough, a guy in his choir at the church, his business gets Dolphins tickets. So he was like, once a year they get to go down. So he was
Seems 10 like a terrible business.
10 rows off the 45 on the Eagles side. So he's sitting around all these Eagles fans that are just miserable. So
it was
let's just do that.
It just took our heart out.
Yeah, absolutely did. Week 14. All right. So tomorrow the Cowboys are going to Chicago. Battle of 6-6 mediocre football teams. Who's tuning in, guys? Who's going to watch this beauty?
I mean, I feel obligated to watch.
I'm going to go, and I've been picking against them the last couple weeks, but I'm going with the Bears. The Cowboys do not strike me as a team anymore that has any vision of where they want to go or who they want to be. They don't have a good team identity. They don't know exactly what kind of team they want to be. Are they going to be run-focused? Are they going to be pass-focused? You know, what kind of defense are they going to play? It changes all the time, and it's not working. And also, they got to fire him. They just absolutely have to fire him. At this point, I don't even know if it matters that it's near the end of the season. But we'll get into that another time. I'm going with the Bears here. That defense is good. They play well at home. I think the offense can do enough to win this game, but it might come down to a field goal. In that case, doink, doink. So who knows?
Oh, wow. Bring back the double doink. They
double doink call
double doink.
But I'm going to – oh, God, this pains me to say this. The Cowboys can't lose again. They can't. Now the Eagles have opened the door so wide, I think they win. I think it's an awful game. Unless they truly get back to the run, I think they could definitely blow the doors off.
Right, they need to choose one.
But I think the Cowboys win, man. They have to. They can't keep losing. And this is me as an Eagles fan saying this. They can't keep losing. I'm going with the Cowboys. Justin?
It feels like no one in the NFC East wants to make the playoffs. I feel like
they don't care.
They're like, is there a way we can let the Redskins back in this? Like, I don't know if it's possible or not. The fact that the Eagles lost and then watching the post-game coverage of that, they were like, and they still control their own destiny. I'm like, oh, ew. Like, why? You mean if they went out there, like, yeah. But, I don't know. I think the Bears' offense is just so bad.
It is. Oh, it's terrible.
Mitch Trubisky.
It's really bad.
I love Mitch Trubisky, Kevin.
So who you go with?
I did.
Who you go with?
Yeah, you want to pick someone?
I'm going Cowboys. I feel like I agree with what you said. I think that it's going to be weird. I think Khalil Mack's going to get to Dak a couple times. Zeke Elliott has looked like garbage since coming from Cabo. I mean, not garbage. He's definitely running for like 80 to 90 to 100 yards, but he's never scoring, so that's a weird thing. But I think they're going to be able to put up some points against them at least. And then was that Thanksgiving that Amari Cooper got held to 0 catches? I think maybe. I don't know. But regardless, Amari Cooper I think can go off if they can get him the ball.
All right. Redskins at Packers.
Well,
3-9 versus 9-3. I don't think we have to spend much time on this. The Packers are going to win this game.
The Packers are going to win this game.
the Packers are going to win this game.
Next game.
Rodgers, by the way, fun fact, has 11 touchdowns, no picks in the last 4 games versus Washington, including the playoffs.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah. Lions at the Vikings. God, this should be a fun NFC North battle, but it's not going to be. Vikings are going to kill them. It's in Minnesota. It's not going to be close. Vikings are 5-0 at home this season, and 3-4 on the road. So apparently, it really does favor them to be at home. So I'm going with them.
I'm going with the Vikings. I'm taking them in my suicide pool this week. They're going to win. Let me rephrase that. They're 13.5-point favorites.
Remember what happened with the Saints?
Shut
Falcons,
up!
buddy?
Shut up! They're going to win. They're going to win. Captain Kirk's going to rally the troops. They lost a close game. They're going to win.
Justin?
Oh, Vikings. Fancy to see that you finally get Adam Thielen back after I'm out of playoff contention. It's cool. I just love losing players left and right.
We have talked about this the last 3 fantasy
year.
seasons. You need to stop playing because you're hurting real players.
Yeah, for the sake of actual human beings. If I draft them to my team, there's a good chance
They're getting hurt. No, they are getting hurt. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Kamara was out for like 5 games. Thielen out for 5 games. I freaking lose George Kittle is playing with a broken freaking foot. A shattered kneecap, and they're like, "You're just gonna play on it. It's fine. Do any more damage? It's gonna hurt."
It's not fine.
He puts up like 2 points naturally. Anyway, back to the Vikings. They should win. They have everyone back now. Should be fine.
Yeah. Broncos at Texans. Broncos have been a nightmare. Texans are finally picking up that pace again. Justin, you talked about earlier how the Texans were your AFC favorite early on this year. You really liked what they were doing. They're starting to put it on again, and they look really dangerous. I'm going with Houston.
Same. I think Deshaun's got it back. He wants to be in that MVP talk. I think they keep rolling. I think the Broncos had a good win last week, but it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. No.
You're not taking the Broncos, so just pick the Texans.
No, I'm going Texans. It's weird. Right after I said the Texans were the best team in the AFC, they lost 2 straight, and then they're terrible. And now they're back to being good again. So I don't know what's happening. But Texans. Yeah, Texans.
This game on Sunday is going to be excellent. Ravens in Buffalo against the Bills. I'm going Bills. I think this is one that's going to be tough for Baltimore. I really do. I think this game's going to be very hard for them. This Bills defense has been really good. And I think that they are just good enough to be able to make Lamar Jackson have a little bit of trouble. And really with Lamar Jackson, all you need is to make him have at least a little bit of trouble to make something happen. The Bills defense, I think, is better than the 49ers defense, so I do see an upgrade there. So I'm going with Buffalo, and they're at home. And you try playing in front of that Bills Mafia, man.
The Eagles won there, so I don't think it's that hard.
Eagles put up 31 there.
Yeah, like it's not that hard. You know what? I'm staying on the Ravens train. The Ravens win this game. I think it's absolutely close. Everything in the world tells me the Bills win this, but I think the Ravens just have it going right now, man. They're just going to keep rolling. I think they really want that number 1 seed.
Ravens for me, they're now my Super Bowl pick. And
That'll change 6 times before we get to the
Yep.
Super Bowl.
Yep, it'll somehow I'll manage to troll my way into having the Steelers be my Super Bowl pick. It won't even make sense.
It could. We'll talk about it.
We
All right.
won't.
Bengals at the Browns.
Oh,
Remember how you wanted to skip a game each week? I think it's fair to say we can skip this game.
dude, I think that's a really
Browns.
good idea next year.
I'm going Bengals. I think the Browns are in a mess right now. After last week, I thought or 2 weeks ago, I thought they were starting to get together. I don't believe that anymore. I think Kitchens wears a shirt that says someone started it that offends someone, and then the Bengals were like, we need to win. And they do.
Pittsburgh finished it. All right.
Bengals.
Really?
Bengals for me too. Andy Dalton. The return of the Dalton, man.
Red Rocket.
And they're getting John. Is it John Ross back this week too?
Yeah, but not AJ Green. They said he's going to sit.
Yeah, I would
To
not play
win.
him. They should let him sit all year. This is a terrible
I mean,
idea.
there's no reason to play him.
I picked up and dropped him in fantasy like 10 times this year, and he still isn't
That's
alive.
because every time you pick him up, he gets more hurt. So stop picking him up.
Probably it. Dang it, you're right. I didn't even think about that.
Another excellent game this week. The 49ers at the Saints. 10-2 teams. A lot of NFC ramifications on this one. I am going with the 49ers going down there to New Orleans and taking this one. I think the way they played against Baltimore showed a lot more about them than it even did about Baltimore. The 49ers are a team to be messed with. I mean, they are really, really good. I think they're going to go down there and kind of pull what the Falcons did to them, except this one should happen.
I'm going with the Who Dat Nation. The Saints win that game, especially at home. I think Garoppolo crumbles under the noise. I think their defense
Drew
plays.
Brees is 2-8 against 10+ win teams in his career. So that's an interesting stat there.
I'm still going with the Saints. I think they're. I personally think they're the best team in the NFC. So
you can make an argument for that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's. And I think after last year, man, that non-pass interference call is still resting heavy.
Especially after they got screwed on the same call.
It was great.
That they got changed. Yeah,
it was great.
It was hilarious.
But yeah, I'm taking the Saints.
I'd like to point out that there are no good teams in the NFC. All of them are terrible. But I'm gonna go San Francisco here.
Whoa, he did it! He did it! He picked the 49ers. You know what? I'm proud of you, buddy. You've come a long way from just hating them for no reason whatsoever.
Still can't center your head in your screen, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Why? Stay right there. Stay right there.
It's weird because now I'm choosing the Saints because you've made you too happy.
No, too bad, dude. You already said 49ers.
You said the Niners. We both.
That's your pick. That's your pick.
Just go to the next game. Just go to the next game.
My pick is the Saints. Oh my god.
No, it's the 49ers.
He hasn't even drank water and he's so drunk.
Panthers and Falcons. Gross. By the way, I'm going to say this, and y'all may disagree. They should not have fired Ron Rivera, especially not right now. I don't blame him for this.
If they're serious about moving on from Cam Newton, I think they should. If they're
at
not,
the end of the year.
No, but you heard. You heard what the owner said. I don't want to do a search for a coach behind your back.
Right, but that was like he was going to do that while he was coaching this year. Like that's what he meant by that.
Oh no,
I think Ron Rivera gets another job easily.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like he's an awesome coach.
No, but if they're gonna keep Cam Newton and they got rid of Ron Rivera, that makes no sense to me.
Right.
They had a great bond. I mean,
but speaking of, I am taking the Panthers in this one. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not. I'm taking the Falcons at home. Falcons may be bad, but the Panthers are suffering a lot right now. I'm going to go
no, the Panthers are going to destroy because I need McCaffrey to have a game. I need him to have a game.
He can still have a good game and lose. They've done it already.
No. He needs to have a game. And I think Kyle Allen goes for less than 3 interceptions. Notice I didn't say touchdowns.
I was going to say, I love how that's the positive there.
Less than 3 interceptions. Yeah, I know, right? I think this is the game we shouldn't have to pick.
Yeah. I think Atlanta. They have like on and on. I think they have like 3 bad weeks and 1 good week. This might be their 1 good week.
Yeah.
Do you think Rivera could jump over to Atlanta at the end of the year?
Maybe.
You know what?
They're
I
getting rid
think
of Quinn.
Quinn's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't dislike Dan Quinn at all.
No.
It's
I don't know why his team's not good.
The thing is, they just
He has so much
injury-wise-
talent.
Yeah, they get injured on defense every year, though, like a lot.
Oh, like the first game of the year.
Yeah.
What's his name is always hurt.
Keanu Neal.
Yeah, Keanu Neal. Yeah.
And Deion Jordan's always hurt. Like they get half of their team gets hurt game 1 against the Eagles every year. 2 years in a row, I think.
Yeah, they somehow beat the Eagles. I didn't know.
Oh yeah.
Hey, that's all right, dude. So did the Dolphins. Speaking of, Justin, did you make your pick? You said Falcons. Dolphins at Jets.
And New Orleans for the one before that.
Dolphins in New York. Dolphins coming off a big win against Philadelphia Eagles. In case you guys didn't know that one. They beat
I'm fine with
Philadelphia. So no, you're not. Shut up.
Sure. The Dolphins have 3 wins. They're not the Bengals. We didn't play the Bengals.
They're pretty close. I'm going to go with Miami in this game. I think that they're pretty hyped coming off that win, and apparently they don't feel the need to tank just as much as they wanted to, like they were in the beginning of the year.
That's because there's no one in the draft.
Yeah, going with the Fins. Well, I'm going with
No one in
Dolphins.
the draft. I'm going Fitzmagic, man. Let's do this.
It's magic.
Wait, you like Fromm?
I do like Fromm.
Oh, why?
For certain teams, like Pittsburgh.
Fromm
like
can't
Pittsburgh
play
to draft
against
him.
good teams.
I'd like Pittsburgh to draft him. I think he'd be great behind Ben to learn behind him. I do. He's a strong arm, good pocket passer. It's just what Pittsburgh loves.
Do you see with the way the NFL is going? You need a mobile quarterback.
You don't want him in front of him.
If that's your system, sure. Not every team has adapted that system yet.
But they will. They
Maybe.
will. They
Maybe.
will.
Maybe.
Fromm.
Yeah, I do. I don't know what the big. We don't need to get into this.
Fromm
yeah.
is the 3rd best quarterback that was on that team, and for some reason they let him play.
Justin Fields was on that team.
They lost Eason and Justin Fields, and they're like, yeah, Fromm's good.
Telling you who I'd like in our system, and that would be Fromm.
Yeah, you guys could have Lamar Jackson, but you decided to pick Edmonds, who was like
I didn't make that choice.
The 13th best safety.
I was on the Lamar Jackson train.
Justin, please pick a team in this.
Edmonds is good.
Is it the Jets or is it?
Well, no, it's the Dolphins. It's the Dolphins. The Dolphins already beat the Jets once this year. They've beaten the Jets. They beat the Colts, who are decent. They beat the Eagles, who are like one of the all-time great teams. And they're going to beat the Jets again. 4 games they're going to win.
Kevin, please go to the next.
They might be. They have the
Please
Giants
go to the
and
next
Bengals.
game.
Did you pick New York already?
No, Dolphins.
No, I'm MJ. You picked the Jets?
No, I picked Fitzmagic, baby. Let's keep it rolling.
No. All right, here we go. Colts at Buccaneers.
I have
Bucks
no clue.
because of that offense.
I have no clue.
Dude, Godwin has been insane. This guy, the fantasy points alone that he's been putting up. I mean, this Buccaneers team's been looking really good. Although it's famous Jameis, and you never know which one's going to show up.
Also, Arians just said today he's not sure who will be the quarterback next year. So that's probably going to help. That's probably going to help Jameis play better. So I'm going to.
Or it'll screw him up. You know how the little things can mess with his head.
Justin, who we going with?
Why are you like in the shadows? Come on, dude. First it's your
Hello,
voice last
Justin.
week. Now it's your terrible camera angles.
Oh, wait, you want me to do the shadows? Oh, never mind.
Just pick a team.
MJ, you now know why I've added you into this podcast. Some levity.
Levity?
Yeah.
I try to bring levity, and then you're like, no, we got to edit that one. Can't talk about
How is that levity?
not on their own dad. Like, what
Oh,
the
my
heck,
God.
dude?
Come on.
Did I have to deal with that?
Kevin, it's going to take you a day and a half to edit
Dude,
this thing.
yeah,
No, but
we're not releasing
Buccaneers-
this tomorrow night.
Yes, we are. Buccaneers,
Good
Buccaneers
luck.
because Chris Godwin, for some reason, is like the best receiver in the NFL this year.
Yeah, he's free.
Wildly. With a terrible quarterback. That's how, like,
Good
he's
he
just
is.
doing it.
Yeah.
Actually, that whole offense, Mike Evans has been great this year, too. So, running backs wise, they're trash.
Oh, yeah, Peyton Barber.
Peyton Barber.
He had his second game over 10 points last week.
The Los Angeles Superchargers at the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Dude, there's 3 good games this week, maybe. maybe 2.
The Jaguars have lost 4 straight games by 17 or more.
Oh boy.
And I don't think that this QB carousel helps at all. I'm going with the deplorable Chargers in this game.
I'm going with the Chargers as well. I don't think the mustache comes back as hot as he was.
Especially,
That's
feeling
where you're
like
mistake.
feeling like he was pulled out for Foles when he was playing good enough.
Revenge game. Gardner
Maybe.
Flint Minshew II
I love his name.
is he's gonna
Gardner
win.
Flint
And
Minshew the second.
He's the second. There was no first though. That's the legend of Gardner Flint Minshew.
He told his dad, "You're the man of the house now." When he left for college.
I love, dude. Have you seen his dad? His dad's
awesome. His dad's the best. But yeah, no, I'm going Jags, like actually Jags, because Gardner Minshew.
All right, fair enough.
This is the first week of this podcast I don't get to scream "Big DN."
Big
DN.
You mean big?
We're getting closer to the actual Big D Nick.
All right, Titans at Raiders.
Ooh.
The Gruden Grinders, I thought they were going to show up against the Chiefs. They did not show up.
Oh, my God. No.
I am tired of trying to think that they're going to be who they're supposed to be. Ryan Tannehill, I am on the Tannehill train. I'm going with the Titans. I love what he has done since taking over at the quarterback position for this team. They have like an entire new life for this team. I'm going with the Titans. They go to 8-5 after this week.
According to the numbers last week, Oakland didn't have that bad of a game, but they did.
Yeah.
So I'm going with – damn it. I'm going with Titans. It makes me mad that Ryan Tannehill is good. I'm going with the Titans. They're going to win that game.
It makes Dolphins fans more angry.
I knew. Dude, Tannehill wasn't a
Yeah,
bad
I liked him too.
Trash team.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's no Ryan Fitzpatrick, so that's why he couldn't do with
Who
that.
is?
Right.
Who is
better?
What Ryan? He doesn't have magic.
He doesn't.
Who are you picking, Justin? The Titans?
And magic? Titans for sure. Yeah, no, tighten up.
All right.
This is the Titans' time of year too. They sneak into the playoffs for some reason. They win a playoff game sometimes, and you're like, "What? Are they good?" And they're not good, but it's fine.
The Pittsburgh Steelers playing the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona. I think the Steelers win this one pretty easily, actually. And this is the first time I've actually been able to say they're going to win a game pretty easily in the past couple weeks. I'm going to talk about them a little bit more in a bit, but I want to get you guys' picks first.
How easily?
Steelers win, but I don't think it's easily.
I think it's pretty simple.
I think they win, but again, not easily.
How the Steelers won a game that's been easy this year? You guys almost lost to the Bengals. You won 16-10, and all of a sudden we're like freaking full. Nope, Justin, it's okay. You're just real confident, is what I was going to say. All of a sudden, you guys are just like, yeah, we're in the 16 in the playoffs because the AFC is terrible, and now we're
and because we have like arguably one of the best defenses in football.
All righty. Well, whatever, dude.
Oh, do we not? Do we not?
You're fine. Your offense is
fine.
It's going to be a close game. It's not like you guys have an offense that can blow a team out and then a defense that can. You only have a defense that can hold teams.
I'm not talking about a blowout. I just don't think it's going to be like a 3-point game.
What does easily mean to you then?
Yeah, it's got to be like 10
for this team,
right?
like 10-14. Yeah,
Okay.
That's not a blowout.
No, you're right. I don't think it's going to be that. I don't even think it's going to be that though. I don't know if you guys have the capability of scoring 10 more points than another team.
I don't think.
Duck Hodges.
All right. Who's the next? Is that the last game?
Oh, hold on. I said we're going to talk about the Steelers for a second.
No, we're going to talk about the Steelers when I do my last things last take, because you're going to get fiery angry and it's going to be great.
Is it about Mike Tomlin?
It is. It is.
Okay, well then let me get this out of the way before you tick me off with that. There have been experts picking that the Pittsburgh Steelers could be dangerous come playoff time because of this.
No.
Here's the thing. I don't think – obviously they don't make the Super Bowl. There's no way they make the Super Bowl. I think this team has the defensive capability to get them to a divisional win and into the AFC Championship game. Yeah.
I think
Because-
that expert. I
now
think
look
that
at
ex. No. I think that expert said, "Hold my beer while I say this crap out loud."
Hang on. Now think about this. If you look at the stats from those games, these last couple games that we have with Mason Rudolph that were terrible, it was because of really garbage quarterback play. Tons of interceptions, a lot of turnovers. Duck Hodges, 2 picks this year. 2 picks.
Who cares about the picks?
When you don't turn over the football,
You're
you're
giving
giving
one
yourself
touchdown a game.
When you don't turn over the football, you're giving your team a chance
And when you
to
run
win
into
the
a
game.
good team, they're gonna score eventually.
You're going to have to score more than 16 points
not
against
hearing
the
what I'm saying.
Bengals to win.
Yeah, no kidding. But also, again, that was a Mason Rudolph game. Justin, you got to look at the defense and look what Minka Fitzpatrick can do.
The defense is
That
great.
guy could score 2 touchdowns on his own.
All right. Well, yes. Let's
Watt's
bank
been
on the
getting to
defense
every
to score us
quarterback.
2 touchdowns.
Wait.
Watt has been getting to
you guys
every
are gonna roll
quarterback.
in as you guys, if you make it, are gonna roll in as the last seed, right?
So we
Yes.
won the Super Bowl as the last seed before.
You had Ben.
So
In another, you had Ben and a good defense.
what did we have? We had a good defense.
And a great running game. You don't have a great running game. You have Benny Snell putting in 40 yards and 2 touchdowns. And we're like, that's great.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns will work
It was
when
like
your
90
passing
yards, I
game's
think.
not the best. You get a healthy Juju back. You round out.
Oh,
those
Juju's not a
receivers.
1. Juju's not a 1. All right, let's look at Duck Hodges. I'm pulling it up. No, you're right. All right, so the first game he played, 68 yards, no touchdown. Second game he played, 132 and 1 touchdown. Third game he played, 118 and 1 touchdown. Cleveland game, 212 and 1 touchdown
I
and 1.
didn't say it was the second coming of Ben Roethlisberger.
He's killing it. No, that's not a
No,
quarterback.
he's doing everything we need from a, I don't know, 3rd string quarterback right now. Technically 4th. We
Kevin,
traded
you
for
just
Josh
said you
Allen.
guys are gonna make the AFC Championship.
I
game.
said
the
they
championship.
could
And here's
make
the
the
deal,
AFC
you guys
championship.
are
I know.
no
I
Eagles,
just
all
I just
right?
reiterated that. You
Duck
just
Hodges
said.
is not BDN.
Okay,
What?
he's not. He's
Duck
not.
Hodges
No,
is not
which is
BDN.
why I didn't say we're going to win the AFC Championship game or go to the Super Bowl and win that. Obviously, this team's not built for
No,
that.
Kevin,
But a team with a good
you
defense,
said you can make the AFC Championship
Yeah.
game.
yeah, we can.
No.
With
No,
this
he's not
defense, I do
BDN,
believe
he's
they can.
SDD. and that's
Well
the last
put.
thing's last.
That's a good edit. So, no, I do.
If
think
you
that
edit, dude,
with
I'm
this defense, this
starting
team
a
has the chance.
vulgar
to go that far.
podcast.
Do I think they will? I have no idea because you've got to go through like a Buffalo and a Baltimore, and a New England will still be in the mix.
Yeah,
But
No,
You
right now.
could
No, right now.
run through a
Stop
Buffalo?
this could nonsense. Make your choice right now. Are they
Yeah.
going to or are they not? Stand behind your team or don't.
well, hold on a minute. Stand behind your
and
team.
put $1,000 on it to each
I
of
didn't
us.
say that. I didn't say that.
So
With
if I
no
say they're not
repercussions if
going,
they
I'm not
don't.
standing behind my team.
No, be real about it. Like either they're going or they're not. Everyone can say they could. They could. Yeah, that's great. Are they doing it or not? Look at me right now. The Eagles are not winning the NFC East, and somehow the Cowboys blow us out.
It's
by
hard
30.
because this defense is giving me reason to believe.
Yes or no? Is it yes or no question?
Ask me after we play Buffalo. Ask me
Okay,
after we play Buffalo,
Okay. Well, how many games? Is
and
that?
then I'll. It's after Arizona.
Okay.
I'll have a better idea then.
All
Like,
right.
how is Buffalo a good barometer
That's
of
a
anything?
pretty good barometer of the AFC, dude. They're a very good team.
Yes, but offensively they're not that great. It's just going to be defense for
Two defenses
defense.
playing each other.
Yeah,
So you
they'll be
guys are going to be like, we only lost 19-13,
Or won 19 to 13.
and Duck is great because he threw 250. yards
Okay,
and
no
one
one is
touchdown.
saying Duck is great.
Man, this
We're
is
To get to the
saying
AFC, you need
He
your
is
quarterback
doing
to
what
not
he
be
needs
bad.
to do.
all right, Kevin.
He's not bad.
Kevin, on the
Good.
29th of this beautiful month, the Ravens are gonna lay 50 on you.
Oh, dude,
So-
yeah, we're not winning that game.
You
Like,
beat the Ravens early.
But that's the type of team you're gonna play when you get to the playoffs.
Didn't you?
what?
Didn't you beat the
We
Ravens?
almost beat the Ravens this year. We
Because Lamar
almost-
Jackson
really close.
miraculously forgot how to throw and started
He
throwing
did
it
not
like,
have a good game.
to your defense.
Those games are always close, but I don't think the second one will be.
Hmm.
No, I don't think we beat Baltimore, obviously. All right. Chiefs at Patriots.
Wait,
Yeah.
if you if you made the playoffs, I think you would play Baltimore in the second round, which
You're
would
right,
mean
with the
you would
seeding.
have to beat Baltimore to get to the AFC Championship.
Well, again, but see, and that's the thing. It would all count on seeding. Obviously, if we play Baltimore first round, we're not getting out of the first round. No way. I agree. I can say that right now. Baltimore's too good.
Anyway,
they're the AFC champions this year.
let's go to the next game.
Yes.
Chiefs and Patriots.
Damn it.
I'm going Chiefs.
Is it
Patriots
at
have been
Chiefs?
really
Is it
weird.
at home?
It's in Foxborough.
Ooh.
Patriots.
Yeah, I'm going Patriots.
Pats have won 18 consecutive home games, but I'm going to stick with the Chiefs.
I think it's super close, but Brady has no one to throw to.
He's got nothing.
I'm starting to really watch what he's doing, man. He's holding the ball longer than he ever has, which is a terrible sign. And no one can get open. The throws are going into the ground. It's not because he's missed guys. It's because he doesn't want the ball to get picked. I feel horrible for him. Conspiracy theory coming up. I think Belichick's we're going to stay good enough so I still look great, but it forces him out the door. I think that's what's going on right now.
Could be.
I think he wants to prove he can win without Brady, and it's his way of, we're still very much relevant, but look, Brady's having a decline because we didn't put anyone around him.
Yeah. Justin?
Oh, I'll just pass. Just pass for me. There's a great – oh, my gosh. Oh, I can't even say his Twitter handle because it's really rough. But I'll tell you guys off. There's a guy that does every week. He does a Tom Brady compilation video of it's the schemes that Belichick comes up with that ends up having these receivers so wide open. And he'll be like, this is the reason Tom Brady's the best quarterback in the NFL. And I'll be like, watch this throw. And it's like a 2-yard dump off pass by Tom Brady. And he's like, it's basically like a parody of people that are on NFL Network and on the calls of the games, basically making fun of how much they love Tom Brady. He's like, no one in the entire world could make this 2-yard dump off pass other than Tom Brady. He'll throw it to a guy and he'll be like, look how tightly covered this guy is. And he circles it and there's no one within 15 yards of the guy. So all that being said, Brady. I think that Mahomes is weird this year. Is it the injury? I don't know what it is. It just doesn't seem like he has the same magic as last year. I think it's that ankle.
I think he'll find it again.
Their defense is trash, dude.
Oh, dude, yeah, it's an offensive team.
They got rid of Marcus Peters. They got rid of D Ford because he ruined their chances of going to the Super Bowl last year by being offsides. They got rid of someone else too. I forget who else they got rid of.
That's kind of unforgivable.
Well, I mean, yeah, they should have. Yeah.
All right.
Seahawks at Rams. I'm going with the Seahawks here. No question.
Seahawks. Move on.
Seahawks.
Next game.
And Eli Manning starting for the G-Men against both of your Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia. Giants win this football game, boys. Eli Manning comes out and has a career football game. Proves he shouldn't have been benched. Against your trash secondary, burnt toast Mills. Come on now. It's going to be a G-Men victory.
I think it'd be funnier if it was
burnt
Mills toast, but okay.
Like General Mills, sir. I got what you're saying.
Eagles.
Giants win this football game.
The Eagles win this game.
Nope.
Eagles win, but I'm rooting because I am rooting against them. I want them to lose out. I want to get a better draft pick, which means they're going to win until they get to the Cowboys game. No, they're going to beat the Cowboys, control their own destiny, and then they're going to lose at the last game of the season because that's what they'll do.
All right,
gentlemen, time for our last things last. MJ, we're going to start with you.
Yes, I've been waiting all day for this. Last things last. Take this to the bank. The Steelers make the playoffs. Tomlin, Coach of the Year, wins Coach of the Year for the garbage he's had and still took the team to the playoffs, proving that he's an amazing coach. This year proved it. He didn't inherit this garbage team. He doesn't have a number one Juju. He doesn't have a running game.
Yeah,
proving with a third-string quarterback, they're going to make the playoffs, proving how good of a coach he is. That is my take. Coach of the Year if they make the playoffs.
Fire Mike Tomlin.
Why? Give me a reason.
I gave you my reasons last time. in our
Kevin,
insane
you just
argument.
jumped on his bandwagon and said they might make the AFC Championship game.
Not his bandwagon I'm jumping on.
If he drags that team with no number one wide receiver.
Hear me
that
out.
team with no
I'm not just
starting running
talking about this season. You guys don't understand. Our problem as Steelers fans with Mike Tomlin do not stem from this season. They stem from the fact that we had a Super Bowl caliber offense for years and couldn't do jack with it.
But
Not even making the AFC title game consistently.
That's because there were better teams in the AFC.
Yeah, and you guys had a bad secondary. What did your front office do to change that? Oh, they waited.
What did our defensive-minded coach do to change that?
If you don't have the players, it doesn't matter.
He tried. Okay, no. See,
He told Ryan, nope.
Coach of the year.
I know Eagles fans don't
understand
this because they've only won one Super Bowl in their entire miserable franchise history.
Whoa.
But the Steelers have a certain bar of excellence that they aspire to.
Oh, really?
And when Mike Tomlin
did AB for 3 years and gave him $70 million.
Yeah.
That bar of excellence is way
The
up.
Steelers
And
are
when
the
Mike
okay boomer
Tomlin-
of NFL football teams.
And when Mike Tomlin cannot get a team with the best offensive weapons in football to even make a chance to get to a Super Bowl and win, that's a problem. I don't care how many wins you got in the regular season.
Nothing to do with the players that
Are
choked
you
on the field.
freaking kidding me?
That
You've
choked on
got
the
a
field.
Hall of Fame quarterback.
Who?
Personality. You had a Hall of Fame caliber wide receiver. You had an absolutely insane running back in Le'Veon Bell in his prime. I mean, come on. You're looking at this insane great triple threat. You can't get there.
The whole Bell situation, you cannot blame on Tomlin. For years, the Steelers screwed down with his contract. So don't even try to.
4 years? It was
3 straight years.
2 years of major contracts.
3. They should have given him an extension the year he
2.
killed it. He had the ACL tear. No, we're not giving it to you. Then
Why do you think we're not? Why wouldn't we give him the money? Injuries. Running backs are absolutely.
Yeah, you don't pay running backs.
Kevin,
why would you ever do that?
But he was the part of your 3Bs, your amazing Super Bowl caliber offense.
Absolutely.
If you want to keep him, you pay him.
No, if you don't
you
have
paid
to
AB,
pay,
no problem. You paid star
Hear
of excellence.
me out.
Our franchise is way up here. We paid
Hear me
AB
Oh,
$70
yeah,
million.
star of excellence.
Hear me out.
Then you guys let
Le'Veon Bell
the training
still
camp
had
And took
time.
$22 million in dead money.
And I
$22 million in dead money.
Le'Veon Bell still had time left for us to pay him. Why would we rush paying a guy when we still have him under contract? Didn't matter. When he decided to sit out, that's on him, and that proves what kind of player he is. Sit out for your money.
He should get paid. I agree
Why?
with him sitting out the whole year.
because he outperformed
Regardless.
his contract.
He did.
Regardless.
Clearly outperformed his contract.
Mike Tomlin, in his incredible wisdom, couldn't take that amazingly talented team and
That had no defense.
at least Andy Reid.
That had no
At least
defense.
Andy Reid, who
And now that you
also
have a defense, you're all on top of them going, oh, man, we can make a run. No defense.
I didn't
You mess
say
it all-
Tomlin was the reason that our defense is so good.
So wait, so Tomlin gets all the blame when the offense doesn't perform and gets none of the credit when the defense does perform.
I'm not saying he
It's
gets zero
so
credit. What I'm
stupid.
saying is you're making it look like this one season where
Mhm.
our depleted roster is seeded to possibly go to the playoffs. Yeah, good for him. How about all those other years we were supposed to be Super Bowl contenders and win, and we didn't get it done? How come his only Super Bowl
Progress.
victory was with Bill Cowher's team? How come the other Super Bowl he was in, he couldn't out-coach? This guy is supposed to be one of the best coaches we've seen, a Hall of Fame caliber NFL coach. He couldn't do the things that it takes to actually win.
Kevin, there's no other coach besides Belichick.
No one is saying that.
No, exactly. So compare him to all the other coaches out there. What have they done?
If you're looking at regular season wins, sure, Tomlin's fantastic.
We'll give you
No,
guys.
look
We'll
in the
give you Dougie
playoffs.
P if you
What
want him.
other coaches have multiple Super Bowl wins? None.
Tomlin has one
Okay,
One!
so does all the other coaches.
with a team that wasn't his. He has yet to build his own Super Bowl winning football team, and people are
no,
still
you didn't say
mocking
winning. You
him.
said contending. Let's keep what we're going.
Okay,
Contending.
even then,
He's
hasn't
done
built
that.
one of those either. How? When did we contend for him with those three guys? When were we actually in
You
a
guys-
position that we were going to get to the Super
You
Bowl?
guys, if you wouldn't have let up 45 points to the Jaguars, you
Is
were
that
in the
not also his fault, though? Is that not also his fault?
Everything is
No, but wait.
nothing falls
but wait.
on the player.
So is that his-
Coach!
no, Kevin,
But
if
Kevin's
it is
not out there
100%,
playing.
listen, if it is 100% his fault, or if it's a giant majority his fault when the Steelers don't do well, then it's a giant majority his credit if they do well. Like it can't be.
I'm not saying he deserves zero credit for what's happened.
But you're saying he
But you're
deserves
saying he
none of
deserves
it.
no, but you're not. But you're saying he deserves a lot of blame for them when they sucked, and
Absolutely.
a little credit for now that they're good.
No, but Justin, that's what you're missing. The times that we sucked was when we had the best offense in football. You need to be able to realize you're a defensive-minded football coach with already an incredible offense. Build a better defense and win
Kevin,
the Super Bowl.
Kevin, how do you build
players to do that? He can.
you need
defense.
you need your front office to get you people to get in.
He is the guy that they put in charge of scouting defensive players. He's the top guy. They have all their scouts. He's the guy that they vet him through because he's defensive-minded. Artie Burns. Oh, yeah, he'll be great. Garbage.
If Fitzpatrick trade wasn't passed through Tomlin at all, I'm sure.
I am not talking about when I talk about firing Mike Tomlin. I am not talking about this season. I am talking about his body of work that has not proved that he is a fantastic coach, like everybody says. One Super Bowl victory with a team that wasn't his.
He just bought himself another year.
Yeah, he did.
I think
Absolutely,
he just bought himself another 5.
You can't fire him after this season. I agree with that.
For sure.
But he's got one win with another person's team. And when he had a team that he was building, he couldn't take him there. So Andy Reid had more success.
If he had another person's team, why didn't that person win said Super Bowl with that team?
What are you talking about? Bill Cowher won in 2005, and then we won again in the 2000. We won the 2005 and then 2008.
Okay, and then he walked away from it. Why?
Because his wife was dying.
A Michael Jordan scenario, if you will.
So his wife was dying.
Say what you said earlier. I did not say what you said.
That's a pretty good reason to retire.
Calm down there, Justin.
His jaw was too locked.
But that's my whole point on Tomlin. I do not say, this season, yeah, obviously he's been doing a bad job. No, of course not. We have a limping team that is put in a position to get to the playoffs. He deserves credit for that, no doubt about it. But when I talk about firing him and when you talk to other Steelers fans that are saying the same things, it's about that former body of work that has left everything. Do you know how angry we are to look back and see that incredible high-flying offense and nothing to show for it? Now it's just a black mark on the Steelers.
The Eagles had the best team in the league 4 straight years and didn't win a Super Bowl. I'm not sitting here going –
But you got to the NFC Championship. You consistently were getting to the NFC Championship.
But we didn't win it.
But you were getting there. We weren't even getting there, and we had a better offense.
You'd be okay if he got to the NFC Championship every year?
I would be a heck of a lot happier.
You'd be okay if he bombed in that game every year.
If he took our team and got us to the
bombed
game
in that game every year is what
I'd be a heck of a lot more okay with them. Yeah, absolutely.
He got
because
really
he's putting you in a position to get to the Super Bowl. What's wrong with that? That's why Eagles fans complain about Andy Reid all the time. I don't know why. Andy Reid got you all the way to the NFC Championship game all those years. Couldn't win the big one. And you blame that on him? You don't blame that on Pinkston having no hands or Thrash having no hands or McNabb being a show artist?
So you can blame the Eagles players, not the coach, but we try to blame your players and you're like, no, it's all the coach. Come on, Kevin.
What are you talking? Look at the stats. How can I blame the players?
So how does the coach have any outcome if the players aren't doing what they're supposed to do?
He's a defensive-minded coach that couldn't build a defense to match his incredible offense.
All right. Someone give their other last things.
I will not give into this argument.
I'm so tired.
Such a moron. Go on to the next thing.
Nope. There are a lot of people that agree with that.
Team.
Such a moron.
Nope. No, sir. Justin?
You don't have your team's best interest at heart.
And you do? You just lost to Miami.
What does it have to do with this discussion? We know our team is bad.
We're not about my team's best interests.
We know our team is bad.
I didn't make my team lose to Miami. I'm not calling for my coach to be fired.
Well, why would you? He just won you a Super Bowl a few years ago.
Oh, he did? I thought that was the players. I thought that was
I really did too.
It's a healthy mixture. It's really good when you have a good coach.
Wasn't a healthy mixture. It was our offensive coordinator. Notice we lost him, and now we're not great.
Yeah, it makes me sad, actually. My last things last. I'll make this one quick because that one was speaking of Conor McGregor is finally coming back.
Who cares?
Fighting Cowboy Cerrone January 18th. It's a fun fight. Everyone should watch
McGregor's
it.
going to win. Why would
Hopefully, Conor McGregor
What'd you
performs
say?
well and wins because
McGregor's
if he
gonna win that
doesn't.
fight.
I don't think
I
McGregor
don't
wins
know
that
if he's
fight.
going to. I think it's going to be a brawl. And
If he's
I
training
think that's tailor-made for him.
If he's training as hard as they said he's been training, he wins. If he hasn't, I think Cowboy has that.
I still don't know if he does win because he's fighting a bigger guy and he's fighting at 170. I don't know if people because the way Dana White rolled it out, he said welterweight. He didn't say the actual weight. And then I was thinking about it again. And I'm like, wait a second. Yeah, they're fighting at 170. And Conor McGregor's only fought at 170 2 times and it's been both Diaz fights. And he lost the first one and arguably lost the second one. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people are thinking.
Wait.
I mean, I tend to roll with Conor in these situations.
Oh, by the way, I need to jump back to a reference here. Kev, you said Cowher won how many Super Bowls with the Steelers?
Okay.
Cowher?
Yeah, that's what.
Cowher won one.
Where did the second one come from?
I
You
didn't
said
say
he won.
two.
You said 2005 and 2008. That's
No,
one those
Tomlin won 2008. You dummy.
He's saying that was Cowher's team.
That was Cowher's team.
Yeah, but Cowher's whole career is an AFC championship and one Super Bowl.
Okay.
Are you saying that he's better than
Cowher's
Tomlin?
trash.
Do you know how many
Cowher's even
garbage
good.
teams Cowher had?
Oh, so he didn't even win during the regular season. You guys weren't calling for his head.
There were plenty of people calling for his head. I was a little young to be doing that, though.
But would you, looking back now, would you have called for his head?
I would have to look back at all the stats again. I don't remember half
Yeah, they
those
have the
games
same
in the 90s.
I almost said it. They have the same freaking record. They have the same freaking record as coaches. They've done the
difference
same
is
exact
Cowher
thing.
built his team.
Oh my
Cowher
god!
built his team.
Oh my god!
You asked me.
He's
You
still to coach
asked
it.
me.
He's still to coach it.
So
But
what?
no,
Gruden,
the players won that all on their own.
so Gruden won his Super Bowl. That was his team. That was Gruden's
No.
team in Tampa Bay. Thank you. It was not his team. It was not Tomlin's team. It was Cowher's team.
But did you give Gruden any credit for winning the Super Bowl?
He's the coach at the time. Of course, you got to give him some credit.
How much
I
is
don't give him
some?
full
Is it
credit.
like 5%? Is it like 10?
I don't know. I don't know if there's a chart for this, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, but when you say Summers, you say no credit or some. What is some?
Not full credit. That's literally what some credit is. Just
Okay,
not full credit.
so
If it's not your team, you don't get full credit.
does he get
You don't
half?
complete the whole document. It's not your full credit. Like, what do you want from me?
I'm just they have the exact same record as coaches.
No, they don't. Cowher
They
built his
do.
team. Cowher built his team.
They
Tomlin
do.
didn't.
Or did Cowher inherit his team from Chuck Noll?
Chuck Noll was gone long before. Even Cowher's first Super Bowl appearance when they lost to Dallas was way after Noll. So, yeah. Okay, my last thing's last. The Philadelphia Phillies overpaid for Zach Wheeler, giving him $118 million for 5 years. That's $23.6 million per year. Zach Wheeler to me is a $40 million guy. Yeah, that's about as much as he's worth total. I think he's going to be an upgrade in that Phillies rotation, but that's not saying much because their rotation is pretty bad. But I think they overpaid for him when there's so many other great players out there on the market right now. You could have gone after tons of different names, including, a Garrett Cole type person. Strasburg's out there. Rendon could come available. You just never know.
Bryce
but no,
Harper.
they dropped $118 million on Zach Wheeler.
We now have
And I think
$500 million tied in 2 players.
And I think, and I don't really think this one's going to pay off at all.
We have $500 million tied in 2 players.
Dude, it doesn't matter. Phillies are going to win the World Series next year. There's going to be another parade down Broad Street because we're in Title Town, baby.
It's not
Well,
happening.
you are delirious.
That's not happening.
You are delirious. Holy cow.
And
But
they're
yeah,
going to
you
be
guys
swinging bats from windows, burning bats.
You guys think that's an overpay for the
Yes, I think it's an absolute
Heck no,
overpay.
dude.
I'm the one that texted you and said, "What the heck is going on here?"
Yeah, that was quite a.
I was in a meeting at work and saw that notification, and I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. It made me. I looked at that pickup and I was like, Harper, who? This is way more exciting. It's a Wheeler, dude.
Justin, when was the last time
for
you watched a full
Wheeler.
baseball game?
Dude, baseball.
When's the last
man,
time you
freaking-
went to sleep?
freaking home runs, bunts. I'm talking doubles sometimes.
All right,
dude.
ladies and gentlemen, this has been another lovely
Baseball.
edition.
You want me to be excited about baseball, and then I pretend to get excited about baseball, and all of a sudden
All you do is pretend.
That's all I
another
can do because it's boring.
All right, please end this.
Oh man, the
podcast.
righty.
This
He's
has
gonna come in
been
and play 27 games.
another episode of the Last Things Last podcast. I am your host,
Wow,
Kevin
we sound
Myers.
like NPR. Kevin's such an NPR fan, dude.
But I have never, you know what, with
MJ
Justin
Kevin's
Mandia
a
and
classic
MJ Nesgoda.
NPR fan.
We thank you so much. I hate NPR. We thank you.
I
I
bet
hope
you
they're not
do.
listening. I despise NPR.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for listening. Please don't unsubscribe because of this podcast.
Bye-bye.